good morning, everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is a Friday and a beautiful day out. I'll tell you about the weather in just a moment. On our show today, we're going to have a segment with United, and Cash Agricar is here and going to be talking about one of the committees that he's involved with. Also, Dan Oweiler is coming by from Sterling Financial Advisors, and he's going to talk about something that has to do with the tax code. So, tax code and IRAs and Roth IRAs. And El Toro Water District, we have their new board president, Jose Vergara, and he's been with the board for El Toro Water for quite a while, but he's now their board president, so it'll be good to see him again. And then we're going to bring you a segment, Doctor in the Dugout. Now, there are no meetings today, so we can get right to the weather. Today, we're going to get some offshore breezes in this area. There are going to be some stronger winds in other areas, but for us here, it shouldn't be too bad at all. But there should be a little bit of that, especially when we get to the afternoon. Warmer today, warmer still again tomorrow, and just a very nice weekend coming up. As we get into next week, we'll probably see a little bit of those morning clouds coming back. The temperatures will drop, but it's still going to be quite pleasant. And as of right now, there is no rain in the forecast for probably, at least the next 10 days or so. Hopefully, as we get into February, we'll get a little bit of that back, because usually February is the wettest month for this area. So let's hope we get some rain, because it's great to get all that we got, and we're doing well, but then to have a long dry spell, that's not going to, I have to turn my sprinklers back on, I think. Let's look around the state, and you can see just some beautiful weather everywhere you go. A few scattered clouds here and there. Up in the north coast, it'll be mostly sunny, as will Tahoe and Mammoth. They will have some clouds forming here and there, but overall, really nice throughout the state and fairly mild for this time of the year. Tahoe and Mammoth, I'm giving you their average for today, tomorrow, and Sunday, which means they'll hover around that mark, which is nice, very nice up there. And up and down the north coast, it'll be closer to the mid to upper 60s. And then as you get down here, we are going to be in the upper 70s and even into the low 80s in certain areas. Big Bear will probably be about 55 is their high for their average, which is beautiful up there. A great time to go up into the mountains or over to Palm Springs, or really any place, even the coast. It's going to be absolutely beautiful this entire weekend. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Your attention. Please take down this number. Did you know that adults with untreated hearing loss experience a 30 to 40% faster decline in cognitive abilities and are more likely to develop dementia? Those with a mild hearing loss are 3 times more likely to have a history of falling. An annual hearing screening is urgent for memory care to help prevent cognitive decline and thus delay the onset of dementia. Free hearing checkups are now being offered free of charge. If you have not had an annual hearing exam, please take advantage of this free opportunity. If hearing loss is detected, hearing aids will be available to try for 10 days. Evaluations only take 30 minutes, but you must call for an appointment. Hearing screening is urgent for memory care. Please take preventive action. Call now.
Dental health is important, and it can be tough to find the best fit for your needs. Flora Stenger General and Specialty Dental Practice covers most of my dental needs in one location. Their on-staff specialists provide seamless services and communication between me, my doctors, and my insurance company. Located right down the road from Laguna Woods, our bus service stops right in front of their building. For the first time, I'm getting the dental care I need with the treatment I deserve. And my dental health has never been better. Call and book your first appointment today. I'm glad I did.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
I just love that ring. Where'd you get it?
I got it at the jewelry box. I saw it on Facebook, and then I went in and bought it. They have the most unique, awesome pre-owned pieces for amazing prices.
The Jewelry Box of Lake Forest, voted best jewelry store in Orange County for 8 straight years, offering unmatched prices on fine jewelry and watches, refurbished to new condition.
Visit us in our store or shop our website for just arrived items.
The Jewelry Box. It's about trust.
And with me today from United is Cash Akrakar, and you're going to be talking about some of the committees you're with, including alterations, right?
Yes.
Welcome. Good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to you, and you had a good trip?
Yes, I had a wonderful time, and good to be back, I'll tell you.
Yes.
Well,
It's
good
great to
morning,
have you
everybody. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about architecture committee and alterations and problems we have, and how we can do it better in the future.
Yeah.
So ask, in 20 minutes I'll tell you whatever little I know and guide you and assure you that we have a good architecture, strong committee and control.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us about, I guess you went to a couple of the committee meetings
Yes, I did.
recently? Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the committee last year as well, for the last 2 years, in fact. Basically, what we have done is to ensure that our architecture is in control and kept so that it is uniform and no eyesores. And our community is so nice, not just with the 35,000 or so trees and beautiful lawns. We need good buildings.
Yeah.
And we are fortunate that last 50 years plus, we have maintained these structures. But individual tastes are different, and we have 9,000 people under United and another 9 under Third Mutual. That's a total over 18,000 people.
Yeah.
So we need to keep our buildings, etc., in good shape.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
tastes vary, and people want to change things to their taste. Of course, not including any common areas. Common areas are for everybody's use. But for your own use, you can change whatever you want. You can make 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, 2 showers, 1 shower to 2 showers, whatever you want to do. Change the position of the kitchen, you name it. But structurally, the changes have to be right, as well as they have to be aesthetic, and your neighbors shouldn't have an eyesore.
Right.
So we do allow all kinds of changes, as long as they meet the structural requirements, and we have all kinds of controls, not just our community village architecture, but the city as well. And so the permit process is pretty extensive. You have to come, and there's a handout, so we do have support to describe what is involved. And after all, the goal is to maintain the building structure intact and in good condition.
Right.
And also, I should warn you that any alterations you do, and there's damage created as a result of that, like say you change the shower and the shower starts leaking and it goes into the neighbor below you, and it is your responsibility.
Right.
So you have to be careful as to what you do. And that's why we have control, so that the contractors do not come in and shortchange you and create nuisance 5-6 years down the road.
Right.
But you have to be aware of that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the other part to that is the architectural part, right?
Yeah, architecture, we do have requirements for proper plans and drawings, and we can't imagine everything like an architect can. So we like some figures, structures, and explanations. And most of the last 50-year changes have been standardized, but there's always something new. And the architecture committee looks at the new stuff, new changes that come in.
Yeah.
We allow even modern structures. We have allowed very modern looking frontage to your place. You can do that to a certain extent, yes.
Okay.
Something else I would like to bring at this point is our structures are 50 plus years old, and the materials used back then were asbestos and lead based. So when you do any changes and you dig into these, you have to be careful and handle them properly. You need proper permits and proper inspection techniques to make sure that there's no contamination.
Right, right.
And if you do not, then there are severe fines imposed on you. And if you do changes without permits, God help you, because we don't like that. And 9 out of 10, we will allow you to let it go, but I don't want to say we will, because we have made some structures come down because they were not proper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And what else is going on in the committees that you're involved with?
Basically, I would like to say that we do have a handout, and we do have a deposit, and we do have a test inspection at the end of your construction or your changes, primarily to assure that the contractor did a good job. Because in the past, when I moved in, my own personal experience, I had electrical connection in behind the panel that was totally illegal because it was taped with just a black tape. And if I hadn't noticed it, if I wasn't an engineer and thinking what could be wrong, that could have created a fire. So that's why I stepped in and I said, hey, I want to be in the architecture committee and make sure things like this do not happen.
Yeah.
We also make sure that when someone does alterations with the plumbing areas, we make sure that the entire plumbing up to the main is checked for any damage with a camera inside the pipe. And because the structures are old and movement can cause problems, and cracks and leaks, so we take every precaution possible. And if you have any suggestion, please do attend our meetings. They're open to all.
Okay.
And we are very friendly. We do not object any ideas. Not necessarily we'll take every idea into but we will consider it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right.
Do you have anything else to ask me? Ask me. Go ahead.
No, I think I'm pretty good.
And let me assure you, our architecture committee is very, very astute, and we have people with civil engineering background as well as advisors. And we have our Kurt Wyman, who is very good and very knowledgeable in building. Unfortunately, he's been given too much extra responsibilities, and we are looking for someone else to fill his shoes. But he has done, and he's supporting us all the way. And in general, I think we have a very good structure that will make our structures, buildings, last for another 50 years. If we continue.
All right, very good.
Thank you so much.
Always good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You take care. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
We'll get you.
Do you know the difference between the parts of Medicare? Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. There are many important facts you need to understand about Medicare to make sure you get the most out of the Medicare plans and benefits that are available to you. My name is Erin Reed, and I'm a licensed Medicare expert, and I would love to help you navigate the complicated Medicare system. Please call me today for a free consultation so we can figure out the plan that is right for you.
#1 one choice for wood flooring and more is LA Carpet.
Now during their 2-day sale, visit their showroom now and get 65% off wood flooring, laminate, and waterproof flooring.
Plus, get 5-year, 0% financing.
Number one for you.
If you asked me what I wanted to be when I was a child, I would have told you a princess or an astronaut, maybe even a chef. But things change. I may not have become a princess, but I found someone who treated me like one. I may not have become an astronaut, but I still got to see the world. I may not have become a chef, but you would never leave my house hungry. The Emeritus Institute has kept my love of learning alive. Every day is a new adventure, and the Emeritus classes have made it possible to keep living out my dreams. Sign up today and begin your life's next adventure.
Your body is made for work, play, and adventure. All the things that make life amazing. But when pain gets in the way, turn to Hoag Orthopedic Institute to get you back to doing the things you love. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, we're experts at getting you out of pain and back to golf, running, or yoga. Whatever makes you, you.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation? Will you be there for my ball games? Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me. Will help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
Welcome back. With me today is Dan Elweiler from Sterling Financial Advisors. And Dan, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome.
We have some sun
instead
of rain.
We don't see any rain in quite a while.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we get a little here and there.
My ground can dry out.
Yes. Yeah. Get the sprinklers back on, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually walked out. Last night I got home, and I haven't had my sprinklers on for a long time.
I haven't either, yeah.
And I had put in some new plants, some new flowers, and I looked at them, I'm going, they need water.
Well, the weeds seem to find enough water,
yes,
you know, so.
They do.
I have a hill in my backyard that always seems to have enough weeds on it.
They always find it, yes.
So.
Well, we have you sent me over a topic today, and the title of it, Tax Code Talk, It's Not Fun, but it's important. And I was thinking to myself, you could replace tax code talk with root canal. It's not fun, but it's important. Something that
Well,
effect.
that's about this. That's about right, you know.
And looking at this is, you know, the article goes into military death benefits, Roth IRAs, and there's a lot of, you know, you've talked about this before. When it comes to beneficiaries and transferring things, there's a lot of pitfalls in there if you don't do it.
Well, I thought this was an interesting topic because, to be perfectly honest, I had never heard of it before. And so let me give you a little bit of background how I came across this. A young lady was referred to me, probably 21 to 22 years old, not very old at all. Okay, most of my clients are getting close to retirement or have retired, but she was referred to me. Her husband, unfortunately, had contracted an illness in the military and ended up passing away.
Wow.
He had some group life insurance of around $400,000, and she didn't know what to do with it. She was very young in regards to financial things. Anyway, we sat down with her and put together a conservative program for her, because I told her if she'll just take care of this money that she'll be okay, you know. And so we put together a program. She came back and emailed me, or was talking to me, and she says, Dan, what about a Roth IRA? And I says, well, generally Roth IRAs, you can contribute to a Roth or you can convert to a Roth from another IRA, but it has to be earned income. A day or two later, she sent me an article that her mother had sent her, stating that there is a provision in the tax code that allows death benefits from military personnel. The beneficiaries can contribute that to a Roth IRA.
Ah, okay.
So, you know, she was asking me about that. I looked into it, and certainly enough, you can, in a $500,000 death benefit from a military personnel can be contributed to a Roth IRA without any tax consequences.
Wow. So what you're saying, in very quickly, I know that one of the, if you look at it, advantage or disadvantage, however you look at it, with a Roth IRA, is you pay taxes up front.
Correct.
And then when you withdraw the money,
it's tax-free.
It's tax-free.
Right.
But it has to be earned income.
Has to be earned income or a Roth or IRA conversion, which at that time you pay the taxes.
Yes.
So if I take a 401k, roll it into an IRA, there's no taxes.
Yes.
But if I take the IRA and roll it into a Roth, that's when I have to pay taxes, but everything after that is tax-free.
Right, right.
In this particular situation, the military death benefits from these group life insurance policies can be contributed to a Roth IRA without any tax consequences.
Right.
So the government basically is trying to give the death of military beneficiaries a tax benefit by allowing you to contribute these group life insurance proceeds into a Roth IRA.
So does that mean years from now, and when she takes that out, there won't be any taxes?
Tax-free.
Yeah, that's nice.
So 21, 22 years old, if you have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 going into a Roth IRA, you don't touch it for 30 or 40 years, that could be over $1 million by the time it compounds over that period of time, and that would all be tax-free. Well, and there's a caveat to that. You don't have to, you have up to a year to do this.
Yes.
Okay, so we had invested her money in an investment program, the $400,000, and she wanted to take some out to buy a house, so we took some out to use as a down payment. The remaining amount, we still have the opportunity to say, okay, we want to change this to Roth IRA. So it allows her to the ability up to a year to make that decision to put it into a Roth IRA, which we're going to sit down and talk about. But it was interesting that you know, I'm pretty proficient in distribution planning, but I had never heard of this provision that allows people to put money from life insurance into a Roth IRA. But there's the caveat that they have to be military personnel, and it has to come from the military group life benefits, and so it's a very narrow.
Right. Now, let me ask you just another way around on that. Suppose this was life insurance. Her husband, who passed away, was not in the military but had life insurance. She got the same amount of money. What's the tax implications there? Now, could she take that and put that into a standard IRA?
No. This benefit is restricted to military personnel, but regular life insurance for non-military, you and I have, you have a $500,000 life insurance policy and you pass away. Your wife gets the $500,000. That comes in tax-free.
Okay.
Okay. She can't take that money and put it into an IRA because IRA contributions either have to be earned income or they have to be converted from 401ks or other qualified plans. So there's a restrictions on, there's a difference between conversions and contributions. So you have to understand the tax code in regards to retirement accounts, that contributions to Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, 401ks has to come from earned income, 1099 W-2s or whatever it might be.
But a standard in that, the life insurance would not be taxed.
The life insurance benefit itself is not taxed to your beneficiaries.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I know you've talked about this before. Being that with a Roth IRA, you were taxed, pre-taxed on that going in. What is the advantage of even having that then versus a standard IRA? Because a standard IRA, if I'm not mistaken, when you start to take that out, you're now taxed at the rates that. So if you're retired, I've been working for a while. So what's the point to a Roth IRA?
A lot of people think that their tax rates are going to be lower when they retire because they're not making as much money.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's true, sometimes it isn't.
Right.
But you're replacing a lot of that income, earned income, with Social Security or pensions or whatever it might be. So your tax bracket isn't always the same or always lower than when you're working. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I always look at it kind of like the farmer. When he sows his field with seeds, do you want to pay taxes on the seeds or do you want to pay taxes on the crop?
Right.
Because the crop is going to produce a lot more
Got it.
in the long run. So I can take a tax deduction now for $5,000 contributed to an IRA. 25, 30 years from now, I will be paying taxes on $30,000 or $40,000.
Right.
Or I can pay the taxes on $5,000 right now and let it grow in an Roth IRA and not pay taxes on the $30,000 or $40,000.
Okay, that's the thing. You won't be, as it grows, you're not paying taxes on the
a
growth.
higher amount.
Got it.
You know, and so, you know, you and I are always trying to find ways to reduce our taxes, and the standard answer from a CPA was, well, contribute to an IRA. That will lower your taxes by $1,000. So they automatically do that.
Yeah.
I would just as soon pay the $5,000 into a Roth IRA and let it grow.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So there's some tax planning, but all of us, I mean, my son, who works for me, came in, Dad, and says, hey, can I write this off on my taxes? I end up owing $3,000 or whatever it is. We're always looking for ways to reduce our taxes. And the typical answer is, well, contribute to an IRA.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a short-term solution to a long-term tax planning opportunity.
Right. Well, this is an interesting piece of information.
Yeah,
it affects a lot of people.
It was, well, I don't know if a lot of people, but it certainly affects those that are in the military and have group life insurance benefits. But it was brand new information to me, and I've been in this business a long time and had never heard that, you know, life insurance could be attributed to from the military. So I thought it was interesting maybe to share with your viewers, and maybe a lot of them aren't in the military right now, but they might have, you know, children or spouses that are in the military and something happens, unfortunately. But it's really a great opportunity to take advantage of that provision.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
All right. Take care.
Yes, and we'll see you in probably a couple of weeks again.
Probably.
And we'll see what the weather's like. And you're, you know, this is tax season, so, you know, I know a lot of
lots
times
of honeydews tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, it's been raining for the past 2 or 3 Saturdays, and lots of honeydews tomorrow.
There you go. You'll be out with your garden hat, right? All right. We'll be back.
Well, you ready to play some golf?
You bet. Just got to take my pills.
I left the house this morning and forgot to take mine. What is that?
MedBox by AmeriPharma has redefined the pharmacy experience. Get all your medications conveniently packaged by the dose every month, regardless of the volume or complexity of your regimen. And best of all, you never miss a dose or worry about when or what you should take next.
This is my lifesaver. My pharmacist organizes all my pills for me and even tells me what time to take them.
Such a hassle for my daughter to organize my medications. But how much does it cost?
Not a penny more. I just called my pharmacist, they contacted my doctor, got my prescriptions, and now I'm all set.
Imagine all of your pharmaceutical service needs in one simple box. It is hassle-free and the service won't cost you a penny more. MedBox by AmeriPharma.
At El Toro Pharmacy, your health needs and your quality of life is our top priority. We can be trusted with all your prescription needs, delivered free to your doorstep. Call us to have your prescription transferred. We will take care of everything. No hassle to you. We are a full-service pharmacy carrying all your over-the-counter medicines at competitive prices. And we offer complete diabetic care and your immunization requirements too. Under new management, come visit us in Moulton Plaza. El Toro Pharmacy will never be undersold, and we offer the finest after-sale services.
You may know AgeWell for delivering life-saving Meals on Wheels to homebound seniors, but did you know they keep seniors active and engaged at 10 modern centers? Serve nutritious congregate meals amid friendly surroundings, transport seniors safely to and from appointments, and provide much-needed equipment and other essential services. Now, this vital nonprofit organization needs your support to sustain its mission. This is AgeWell Senior Services. Won't you make it yours?
And with me right now from the El Toro Water District is Jose Vergara. And I'd like to once welcome you back, and also congratulations, you're the board president, and it's great to have you here today.
Thank you, Ken.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
As always. This is my 6th year already coming to this television station to communicate with our viewers. It's been a lot of change in the last year. You changed. First time was somebody else. Then the location also changed. So. But today I just want to come and share information with the viewers and celebrate that we have a new board. And usually we change every election.
Right.
But you know, it's not so notorious. This time I was selected by my peers to be the president. I consider that an honor, although being the president is really not something special. It's a little bit of more work because you have to coordinate some of the activities that the directors have.
Right.
But it's been a pleasure, and also important thing that happened is this November we elected for the third person being elected, not appointed, in 22 years.
Oh, really?
Ted Martin was, before he passed away, for 22 years ago, he was elected.
Yes.
And then everybody else was appointed until 6 years ago when I ran and I was elected, not appointed. And then we kept appointing because it's actually cheaper. We don't have to run a special election. It will cost a lot of money. But this time we have Mike Gaskin, surprise also, is elected directly. So with Mike coming in and also Catherine, we have, and Mark Morin here, we have 3 people now from Laguna Woods.
Right.
And which is very valuable because they do have a long and wide experience in all the issues affecting Laguna Woods, which is something that we are really going to focus on.
Okay.
One of the, since you know I'm retired, one of the concerns I have is when you retire, you have a fixed income.
Yes.
And when you see that income not growing as fast as they used to be, you start getting worried that things are expensive and keep raising. And then you say, how much are they going to be growing? And am I going to be out of the market soon? Do I have to move to Arizona or some other cheap place?
That's very true.
So we're going to be focusing on the water rates. And there are things that we cannot avoid because we need to invest in pipes, we need to invest in things. But wherever we're going to have the opportunity to save money, we're going to be discussing next month. We're going to be having a strategic meeting with all the directors and management. We want to have a policy or a strategy that will help the manager decide maybe we can look at different ways to save money. So that's going to be my first action because I am conscious that
very good.
The retirement money is not enough. So.
Well, let me ask you along those lines, because really for everybody is the fact that that incomes aren't keeping up with increases and just all kinds of different things. It's particularly hard for people who are on a fixed income. But you are hearing that more and more people are beginning to look to leave the area, leave the state. And that's one of the primary reasons, certainly not the weather, but and it's got to be hard to, on one hand, like you said, you have, and we see this all the time in the news, you have infrastructure to take care of. I mean, everyone does. We just saw, where was it, up in La Habra yesterday, you know, they had that big sinkhole, and it turns out it's a flood channel that collapsed, that'd been there for who knows how long. So there's real issues about money needs to be put forward for what we don't see, things underneath. And the cost of those goes up, the labor, the materials. So it's a real kind of balance of
yeah,
of
that's correct.
done.
Every year we have to do an analysis of how much we have to spend to bring the water. Actually, the water doesn't change that much because the water, we already know that it's going to come up at 4%, 3%, something from metropolitan. And we just passed that. But the actual cost that we have is what we need to be conscious that maybe it's not that we're not going to do this or we're going not to do this. It's that, is there any other way that we can do it, that we can save money?
Yeah.
That's the main concern. And then we have enough brain power in this board that we can come up with some decisions. As you know, let me just go over the list. My colleagues were kind enough to think that I could lead the effort and selected me as a president. Mark Money, another very capable gentleman, very knowledgeable in the finance world, is a vice president. And then Scott Goldman, who was the president for 2.5 years, and he was for vice president since the year 2000. He has a wealth of knowledge, so he is willing to help us. And
he has
with
a great
his
background
experience
in infrastructure.
Yes, and he himself is an engineer. He has his own company. He had his own company, and he's a very capable. So we're lucky in that sense. And then we have Catherine, who everybody knows. And then Mike. Mike Ashkin has a background in geology, but he worked in microbiology in Santa Margarita Water District. In addition to that, he has an extensive background in human resources.
Very good.
So it's a very, very good addition to the board, and I am thankful to the people in Laguna Woods for actually electing him. He was he's a very, very lucky El Toro to get him. So we're very fortunate. So that's what really I have in mind today. Basically telling you that we have a new board and the new president, and I don't plan to stay there for life. I want to give room to others to show their leadership, to become president, so everybody has a shot to it, and everybody can bring forward their ideas on how to improve and make first of all, water available, and then the price is right for the people. So.
Well, it is a good board, and a lot of people on there with a lot of great backgrounds and knowledge, and you know, I've met everyone before. Mike, I met when he was running. Of course, Catherine I've known for years, and all you other folks that are on the board I've known for years. So it's a good group, and I know you'll look out for the best interest. Things have to be done, you know, they have to be maintained, just like here in the village. There's things that the infrastructure is getting old in many cases, and you know, you got to find the way to do it in the best possible way. So that's something that's always going to be ongoing in infrastructure.
Yeah, that's what I want to make sure that the community knows that we work for them. We were actually selected by them to be in the board, to protect their interests. And what we are looking for is to protect the community interests, and I want them to be aware of that. And we are trying to do that.
All right. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, man.
We'll see you back here again soon. Say hi to everyone for me.
Well, thank you very much.
Take care, and we'll be right back.
#1 choice for wood flooring and more is LA Carpet.
Now during their 2-day sale, visit their showroom now and get 65% off wood flooring, laminate, and waterproof flooring.
Plus, get 5-year, 0% financing.
Carpet, #1 for you.
Hello again, and welcome to the Traveling Roadshow version of the Doctor in the Dugout. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Beyer, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Dr. Jonathan Kaplan, one of our newer associates at Hoag Orthopedic Institute, a foot and ankle specialist. John, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I think that you talk about a topic, your expertise is in a topic that I think so fits the viewership that we have down here, which I like to call it the agony of defeat. Because foot and ankle problems just seem to be just, a lot of people here golf. There's probably more rounds of golf played on the golf course down here than any other course I can think of in Southern California. People's feet tend to hurt when they walk 18 holes or even if they ride 18 holes. Tell us a little bit about the most common things that you're seeing in your practice in terms of especially foot problems in a more senior tilted population, people in their 50s and above.
Of course. So we're seeing a lot of patients with bunions and activity-related pain with shoe wear, particularly when they're active. I see a lot of patients who will develop Achilles tendonitis or pain with activities in the Achilles tendon. And then we also see a variety of ankle sprains and other injuries when people roll their ankles or injure their ankles when they're playing sports and other activities.
So to keep this current, let's hone in on Achilles tendon stuff a little bit. Great football player, Des Bryant, released by the Dallas Cowboys, sits around waiting to get a phone call from somebody else. Nobody calls. Finally gets a phone call from the New Orleans Saints after 3 or 4 months of inactivity. Goes up, signs with the Saints, ready to play. Second practice, last play of the practice, ruptures his Achilles tendon. Yep. How common is that in somebody who isn't really keeping in great shape and staying stretched out? And what does that injury mean to somebody who's doing athletic stuff?
Of course. So we see Achilles tendon ruptures most commonly in people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, what we call the weekend warriors. And we think we see it because those are patients who are active on the weekends but not doing their stretching exercises, and they're basically doing enough to strain the tendon, but they're not staying active enough and healthy enough to protect it from injuring it.
So I know there's a little bit of, I don't want to say controversy, but there's a little dichotomy of opinion these days about how these acute Achilles tears should be treated in active people. It used to be surgery if you want to stay active, but now there's a push in some people towards treating them by just immobilizing them in a boot, maybe with the foot down for a bunch of weeks. Tell me a little bit about what goes into the decision-making process about which way to treat an Achilles rupture.
Of course. So the most important thing is identifying the correct patient. We can treat Achilles ruptures with surgery and without surgery. The key is you have to identify the patient in a timely fashion. You have to understand the risk factors for healing in each of them. And the key is with your non-operative treatment, it's not just immobilizing them, it's a very guided functional rehabilitation program. So it's how we rehab them in a very controlled fashion. So we're activating the tendon, getting it to heal, but not doing too much where it can't heal.
So is the risk of re-rupture higher in the patient who's treated non-surgically?
There is a slightly higher risk of re-rupture in the patient treated non-surgically. With surgery, it's usually around 2 or 3%. Without surgery, it's usually up to 5%.
Still a pretty acceptable number, and not having any of the risks of infection or skin problems that are sometimes associated with repairs. I guess that sounds pretty good.
Absolutely. It's a great option for most of our patients who are weekend warriors, patients who maybe don't need quite as much strength as a professional athlete would.
But at the professional or highly competitive level, surgery is still the way to go.
Yes, and a professional athlete, highly competitive athlete, surgery is the way to go because it's going to give them the best power, the best return to their previous pre-rupture level.
So let's go a little bit deeper on that because it's something that's kind of always titillated me. So here's a professional athlete towards the twilight of his career, let's say, has the surgical repair. He's going to lose a little bit in terms of his vertical leap and things like that, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So that's what happened to Kobe also, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. You never come back as the same player. You're not going to come back with the same explosive power, the same jump and function that you have with the Achilles. At the same time, we know that many athletes can come back to a close to previous fitness level. And so a lot of athletes can still get some time back in a few years of the rupture, but usually they're not the same player.
I always like to say you can fool Mother Nature, but you can't fool Father Time.
Absolutely.
So now let's go to something that affects a lot more people in and around us, which is bunions. I know you're doing some really groundbreaking work in terms of minimally invasive surgery to repair bunion deformities. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. It's this new innovative technology that allows us to correct bunions through a series of what we call keyhole incisions, which are 1 to 2 millimeter wide incisions, maybe the size of a pea. And we can correct the bunion through these incisions, and it limits the amount of swelling, it limits the amount of pain, earlier return to activity, all these things that we like to see in our post-surgical patients.
So a lot of people are scared off of bunion surgery because the wives' tale out there, for want of a better term, is that it's very painful afterwards. They're not able to bear weight normally for a long period of time. Does this somehow get us over that hump?
It does. It allows them to walk immediately after surgery. Patients are walking post-operative day number 1 in a special shoe that we give them. Their pain is substantially reduced because we're not making as large of incisions and affecting the soft tissues. And we found that they're getting back to activities quicker and back to life quicker, which is great for our patients.
Are you doing people both sides bilaterally at one time, or you're staging them one at a time?
I'll usually stage them. Even though it's less invasive, it doesn't mean it's non-invasive. So we want them to be able to have a good foot to stand on. I think doing one foot actually gets them back quicker because they can rely on one foot and ease back into it, as opposed to having both feet hurting at the same time.
It's kind of the same rationale we use on people who are having knee replacement. I really try to talk people into only having one knee replaced at a time because I just think the rehab goes easier.
Exactly. I agree 100%. We can learn from our joint replacement specialists.
There's a lot of things you could learn from the joint replacement specialists,
I agree.
Which segues us perfectly to what I want to talk about next, which is a new procedure, a relatively new procedure that's out there now, called a Cartiva implant, which is for arthritis of the first MTP joint. Tell our viewers a little bit about what that joint is and what's involved with this procedure.
So what that joint is it's the big toe joint that I explained to our patients, and that joint's where we move our big toe, where most of our motion is. And traditionally, when patients get advanced arthritis in that big toe joint, the only option was to fuse it, but that wasn't ideal because they'd lose motion, it'd be a longer recovery. Some of the activities that we like to do in Southern California aren't feasible with a big toe fusion. And so the Cartiva really allows us to go in and kind of clean up the joint, and we put this implant in there that acts almost like a bumper. It allows smooth gliding, allows decreased inflammation, decreased pain, and an earlier return to activity, and it has a shorter recovery.
And they keep their motion of that joint.
They do. They keep their motion. They may have a slight improvement in motion, but I also try to emphasize that they don't get normal motion back because they've already developed some stiffening, but they do keep the motion they have, and they even get a little bit better.
So now this is for a condition that's called hallux rigidus, correct?
Yes.
Which is still the same joint that a bunion is involved in, but it's a different area of that joint. Let's give a little anatomy lesson to the viewers out there so they can understand the difference.
Exactly, and that's a great point because a lot of patients will think that one is the other and vice versa. So a bunion is an angulation of the big toe joint. So the joint itself is normal, it has healthy cartilage, but the bones themselves become, for lack of a better word, crooked. Whereas big toe arthritis or hallux rigidus, that's where the cartilage wears out inside the joint, and that they get thinning of that cartilage, which then leads to a bony prominence, which looks like a bunion or a spur on top of the toe, and then they get pain due to the bone rubbing against bone.
So there is a procedure that's been done before, besides a fusion, called a chevron osteotomy and an Aiken procedure where they kind of change the angle of the first toe a little bit. Kind of tell us what the indications, if any, still exist for that versus the newer Cartiva implant.
So the indications for doing the chevron and Aiken is really more guided towards the bunion. If a patient has arthritis with a bunion, you can realign it with the chevron and Aiken. You can also add something called a chylectomy, which is where we shave the spur on the top of the big toe for arthritis. Whereas if someone has advanced arthritis, if the cartilage is more or less completely worn out, we know that realigning the bunion or realigning the toe is not going to alleviate all their pain, and that's where you need to do something more advanced, like the Cartiva procedure.
So one thing that I know our female viewers are going to want to know, after you have these kinds of procedures, when can you go back to wearing high heels?
Of course. So with the Cartiva procedure, if we're doing that alone, patients can go back to high heels usually 1 month or after surgery. With the bunion correction, I usually tell them it's a little bit longer because we're relying on the bone cuts to heal. So it's usually about 8 weeks after surgery.
So let's also attack another famous myth here. Does the shoe wear that someone uses influence the development of their bunions, or is that programmed into them? Can people slow the progression of their bunions by more sensible choices in shoe wear? Let's address that for our viewers.
That's a great point, and I think that's something that we can't quite pinpoint 100%. And what I mean by that is we know bunions are multifactorial. There's more than just one cause. It's not just shoe wear. At the same time, we do know that females get it more than males, and we think that may be in part due to their shoe wear, shoes that have a tighter toe box. So inherently it makes sense that if someone has a bunion, if they wear a shoe that's wider, accommodates their foot, in theory it would decrease the progression of the bunion. At the same time, there's plenty of people that get bunions who've never worn high heels in their life, and vice versa, plenty of people who've worn high heels their whole life and don't develop a bunion.
So it was one of those things that we just don't know.
We just don't know.
We've got a minute or two left here. Let's address one other thing that I know affects a lot of people out there, and that's plantar fasciitis, the pain that comes on the bottom of the foot when they first get up in the morning or when they're doing some kind of activity. Define it for us and tell us what people should do about it.
Yes, it's a very common problem that I see in my practice. What the plantar fascia is, it's a ligament that runs along the bottom of the foot, from the heel to the ball of the foot. And it can become very painful. Usually it's inflammation in that ligament on the bottom of the heel. We see it happen after an injury, after trauma. Sometimes it just starts out of the blue, and so it's inflammation in that area. The best way to treat it is stretching exercises, stretching the calf and stretching the plantar fascia. You can do a wall stretch, you can take a golf ball or a tennis ball and roll it along your arch, and then massaging the scar tissue or massaging along the plantar fascia to break up the scar tissue.
Frozen water bottle is another one that I know a lot of people use as well to do that stretching.
A great one.
Well, thanks so much for being here with us today. You've really opened everybody's eyes about some of these common problems that involve foot and ankle. People can obviously find out more about you from our website at orthopedichospital.com, the Hoag Orthopedic Institute website. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. We'll be back again soon with another topic in the world of orthopedics. You're listening to Dr. Alan Beyer, or viewing Dr. Alan Beyer, your doctor in the dugout. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha-Na-Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village television. Grease for peace.
And our movie today, Harrison Ford stars in Air Force One. This came out in 1997, and it's all about when the president goes to Moscow and gives a stirring speech outlining the country's new zero-tolerance policy with respect to terrorism. But on the flight home, terrorists take over Air Force One and take the hostages, including his wife and daughter who are on the plane. The terrorists plan to execute one hostage every half hour until their demands are met. A very good movie. Came out, like I said, in 1997. A great cast: Glenn Close, Gary Oldman, and of course, Harrison Ford. So we'll bring that to you today at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Now, our movie coming up on Monday is based on a true story. It's called The Catcher Was a Spy, and this takes place back in World War II, when a catcher, a Major League Baseball catcher, who also speaks 9 languages, is recruited by the Office of Security Services during the war to spy and go after German scientists' plans to assemble an atomic bomb for the Nazis. A very good movie. The cast is just stellar in this. There's Paul Giamatti right there. Guy Pearce is in this, Jeff Daniels, of course, Paul Rudd, he plays the lead in this. Really good movie. I think you'll enjoy this very much. And as I said, based on a true story of baseball player Mo Berg. So really good. That'll be on Monday. Now I want to remind you folks that if you are interested in learning how to play bridge, the Bridge Club will be starting their beginning bridge series. Their classes begin tomorrow, January 26th. And they will be over at Clubhouse 7 from 9 o'clock in the morning to 11:30. Then they continue on Saturdays until March 2nd. It's only $25 for all 6 sessions, plus an additional $25 for the student manual. So that's a great price to learn to play bridge. If you are interested in this, please go to their website, lagunabridge.com, and then from there you can get the information. And I would imagine, excuse me, you can probably just show up tomorrow if you want to give that a try at Clubhouse 7 at 9 o'clock, and if they have spaces left, you can sign up then. But what a great deal to learn how to play bridge. Now, time to get your dog vaccinated and licensed. Well, on Thursday, February 7th, at the Clubhouse 1 Main Lounge, veterinary services will be there from 9:30 to 1 p.m. You can get your dog vaccinated. And then license services will be over there from 10 o'clock to 1. So this is a kind of an all-in-one situation. Dog license and fee schedule are going to be for dogs, or be $25 if they're neutered or spayed, and then if they're not, it's $48. Vaccination fee is $22 for rabies, and the others are $22 Bordetella, and then other services, $42 to have your dog microchipped, which is a great idea, really good to have. This is going to be administered by Alicia Pet Care Center. This is a great service, and this will be happening on Thursday, February 7th. And for more information, you can call the Laguna Woods Dog Club. They're the ones that are organizing this at 949-855-1938. So there you go, all in one. You get it all taken care of. All right, the weather going to be very nice over the next few days. A little bit of that offshore breeze today, not much at all. They really kind of subsided a lot. Just nice and clear and warmer over the next few days in the mid to upper 70s. Some areas of Orange County are going to be in the 80s on Saturday. Things will start to cool down a bit on Monday and Tuesday with some more of those morning clouds coming in. But overall, we're going to just be in a very nice weather pattern for probably at least a week and a half before any rain is even thought about. So that's kind of nice. Around the state, things are very nice. Sort of, as I put down there, winter mild temperatures. Even the North Coast, 62, up in Tahoe and Mammoth, they're going to be averaging some nice, very nice weather up there. Yes, it'll be, to us, cold, but for them, mostly sunny and just beautiful weather up there. The Central Coast, 76, down in San Diego, about 78, Palm Springs, 77, and as I said, down here this weekend, we're going to have some really, really nice weather. All right, we will see you on Monday. You take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.